Mike, tell us about the latest Gallup poll and its observations about what people think about creationism in the United States.
I wonder how many of the listeners, Carl, are aware that before Christians were called Christians in a city called Antioch, it was said about us that we were in the way.
In the way, yeah, no, that's correct. We were called the Way. We were in a group called the Way. Yeah.
Don't you love that though? I love it that we were in the way.
Yeah, we're in the way. We're just you guys are just in the way. Well, we're supposed to be. We're the salt and the light. Light is always in the way of darkness, and salt's always in the way of something that's rotting.
You know, I have to warn Mallory that the word I'm about to use is not in any way intended to be foul. But even Jesus himself said that when he was speaking to the Apostle Paul, he said when the Apostle Paul was persecuting the church, right?
Yep.
And he was going around killing believers and persecuting them, throwing them in jail. And Jesus says to Paul, he says, "Why are you doing this?" He says, "Isn't it hard to kick against the pricks?" Yeah.
No, that's right. That's what the King James says. Yeah, right. and I think the goads, and of course that was a
right.
It was what it had to do with the armor and the horses, and I can't remember what it was. The goads. What was that? Well, I think it was part of the armor or something.
Yeah, I just have this vision, of somebody going down the road, kicking away at the dirt, and they end up kicking at a spiked plant.
Right.
Plant with spikes or pricks sticking out of it.
Right.
Right. You go to kick it, and you end up getting a prick in your foot.
Right. Well, that's right, and that's the thought there. I can't remember what a goad was. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, quit. That's where we get quit goading me, quit provoking me. Right. Yeah. Okay. It's I know what it is. I just looked it up on Google. It's a spiked stick, and it's used for driving livestock.
Okay.
Well, so it's hard to kick against the goad. Okay. Yeah. That's why we say quit goading me. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Right. Now we have an accurate picture in our mind here.
Right.
In the theater of the mind here, what Jesus was talking about when the Apostle Paul was going around doing it, and yet the more he did it, the more the church flourished and prospered, and the more numbers came in. Right.
Right.
Well, 4 days ago, today's the 6th, right? So on June the 2nd, Gallup, the poll company, they published their findings. In the U.S., 42% believe creationist view of human origins, Carl.
Right.
Now,
and by the way, those people in Europe hate America for that because almost all of Europe believes in evolution, and they think we're a bunch of backwoods idiots.
Yeah, well, they got a bit of an eye-opener there with the discovery of Kepler 10c, right?
Yeah,
anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. But no, I don't know whether to be encouraged or discouraged by that 42% number, Carl, because it turns out that at least 42%, at least the creationist viewpoint polls better than Barack Obama.
That's true. That's true. The creation, more people believe in creation than believe in Barack Obama.
Yeah. So at least God is polling better than Barack Obama. But at the same time, it's almost discouraging, isn't it? Because that means 58% of the population either does not believe in God or believes that God is a monster.
Yeah, and explain what you mean by believes that God is a monster. I know what you mean, but tell our audience.
Well, they believe that God used deep-time fish-to-man evolution.
And before you expound on that, now, folks, hear what Mike is saying. There are a lot of people that believe that there is a God and He started the creation, but he used the deep time evolution process to bring about all that there is. Now, the Bible doesn't say that, and evolutionists don't say that, but that's what some so-called Christians do to try to meld the two together. So tell us why that's evil. Why does that make God a monster if that's the way it was?
Well, for starters, it means Jesus is a liar, because Jesus himself, who was the witness to the creation event, said, "Have you not read that at the beginning God created them male and female?"
Right. Well, as a matter of fact, he's more than a witness. The Bible says that it's through him and by him all things were made. Through him the universe was made, and in him everything holds together. Amen. John chapter 1, Colossians chapter 1.
There you go. And yet we have this large percentage of so-called Christians out there, and I'm not going to question their position in eternity. Right. But I really think that what they've done is they've stopped being pricks for Jesus.
Yeah,
they stopped
goading.
they've accepted the fact that they're being persecuted by this community out there. They're tired of the intellectual arguments, and they said, okay, fine, evolution must be true because people smarter than me believe it.
Right.
Right? And yet, what they're really saying is that God is a monster.
Yeah.
Because what is evolution? Evolution, if God did it, God-driven evolution, would mean that God is using death, mayhem, and horrific pain on the order. I heard somebody say one time that if you could open your window, Carl, at night and hear the pain just in your neighborhood, just the pain being caused by cats.
Yeah.
If you could hear that, it would deafen you.
Right.
If you could hear the amount of pain in the world.
Right.
That God is God instituted that. That is His system, and that is what He has used to bring about humanity.
Right.
That fish to man evolution. The trillions of instances of death. That God would be a monster.
Right.
To do that. In fact, and there's nothing that indicates that God used that system in the Bible anyway.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. Well, Mike, listen, we're quickly running out of time. Tell folks about the P.P. Simmons News and Ministry Network for just a few moments, and how they can get in touch with you to get and the counselors there that work there to get answers to biblical questions and some help with life.
P.P. Simmons, P.P. Simmons started as an apologetics source on the internet. It's quickly evolved, if you will, into a worldwide ministry that is devoted to helping people understand the science and to understand that there is a God who loves them. There is a heaven to embrace and a hell to shun. And we just deal heavily in all of that stuff. And we can be reached easily at ppsimmons@live.com for counseling, any questions. And if you want to offer to debate Carl Gallups on any of these topics, you have to go through me first, ppsimmons@live.com.
That's right. And I would love to do it.